Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. For the day we are heading back into r/AmITheDevil, and if you guys would love to be absolutely amazing, show your support and see more videos like this one in the near future, be sure to hit that like button, leave a comment down below to start up them wholesome internet discussions, and if you guys have not already, subscribe to the channel and turn on them notifications. Also, if you guys would like to save 10% on your next order of gamer subs, use code Tommy at checkout, or click the link down below. It'll automatically apply the discount to your transaction, and it helps support the channel. Am I the a-hole for treating my cousin's stepdaughter differently? I was raised in a family-oriented household, so I grew up with my cousins and other extended family members my age. After the following years, we grew. I had our own lives, but the bond was still the same, if not stronger. Some of these members settled down and had a family of their own. While I'm close with their kids, having my own, I feel, is not for me. I don't think that I want to have that responsibility, or at least not yet. Since I am single, I have a low-maintenance lifestyle, child-free, have a stable job and some passive income, and extra money. I try my best to share my blessings to everyone, including to the younger generations of my family. Fast forward to last weekend. We celebrated my grandmother's birthday, so it was kind of a big deal and nearly every family member had gonna be there. With that in mind, I prepped some goodie bags filled with chocolate, candy, and some cookies. I also baked some extra in case more kids attended the reunion than planned, family friends, as a separate set of goodie bags, which included 3 assortment of cookies. After the day ended, I handed every kid a goodie bag to take back home. Everyone was happy and appreciative with the gifts, so I thought. My cousin's stepdaughter, 10, approached me complaining that why is her goodie bag smaller than her younger sister's? Luckily, there were 2 extra goodie bags, but she complained that she wanted chocolates and candies too, like everyone. But I said that if she had more cookies than anyone with 12, and if she can trade some of her cookies with her sister or ask to share. She said that she didn't want to, and said that since she is older, she deserves the extra cookies, as well as the other goodies. I said that I couldn't do that, and I promised her that I would give her some next time. She started crying, and my cousin, her stepdad, came to try to quell her. I explained the situation and apologized. He understood and took the kid away, as well as the extra pack of cookies that I planned to give her. That evening, my cousin's wife called me and told me that I was a dong and accused me of mistreating her daughter just because we aren't blood related, and said that wasn't the only time that I treated her differently. Called me some profanities, cursed me, and hung up before I could speak for myself. Admittedly, I do treat her differently. Initially, yes, it was because we weren't related. But after a few years, it was because of her attitude and personality. She is super spoiled, entitled, rowdy, nosy, and just plainly misbehaved. But what happened on Grandma's birthday was an honest mistake with a personality. Had I have known my cousin planned to bring her, which he normally doesn't do, I would have given exactly like her sisters and the other kids to avoid the drama. So, am I the a-hole? Well, yeah, because you blatantly stated that your brother's daughter, so niece, is not blood, which very much is false, because, yeah, it is not exactly direct sibling, like daughter or anything. Cousins do still have a blood relation to you, which you saying is ridiculous. Treating the child different because, in your eyes, they're not blood, but at the same time, calling them spoiled because they don't take their being treated differently with tolerance is just ridiculous. Kid being spoiled is like the kid does whatever they want and the parents don't do anything. That is a spoiled child. Am I the a-hole for choosing my kids over my new husband? A few years ago, I moved to a country for work, looking for a fresh start for me and my 2 children, now preteen and teen. The plan was to stay for 2 years and then decide. Either they would join me, or I would return. Since then, life has taken unexpected turns. I got married to a local, and we now have a young child together. Now, I'm stuck between 2 worlds. My eldest is settled in school back in home countries, and really happy there, but I miss them terribly. They love visiting me on holidays, but want me to move back rather than relocate them. My younger child is more open to change, but I worry about uprooting them too. Meanwhile, my spouse is completely unwilling to move. Work, family, and life are here. My spouse doesn't think that it's fair for me to expect them to uproot their life for the sake of my older children, and I do understand that. At the time, they knew I had kids when we got married, and I feel stuck trying to balance everyone's needs. I'm also not confident about the education system here, and then the criminality of some areas is a concern, especially with my kids being at such a formative age. If I were moving them for something better, that would be one thing, but I don't feel like I am. It feels like I'm asking them to sacrifice their stability for something uncertain. One option I'm considering is moving back temporarily with my 2 younger children while my eldest finishes their most important school years. But I know that this will create tension with my spouse, who doesn't see moving, even temporarily, as an option. I also don't have much of a support network back home, which makes the move daunting. I feel like no matter what I choose, someone will be hurt. Edit. I thought I was putting them first by not disrupting their stability in school, friends, etc. We still see each other every 2 weeks out of the month, but if not more, for the last few years, so it's not that I abandoned them, and I hope they don't see it that way. Second edit. I share custody with my ex-husband, but until that point I had majority custody, and then that shifted when I moved away. I also have to mention that even though it is different countries, it is actually just under 2 hours of a flight, or possible to also drive. Third edit. Yes, my husband and I have discussed a few times about me moving back, and at first he was okay with it, and said that it would be a great opportunity. However, once we got married and had our kid, that seemed to have vanished into thin air. Ah yes, unexpected turns after happening to leave your family in another country, and you accidentally married a local. How do you do that? Yeah, that and also having the kid with the person you then also married. That was an unexpected turn, I guess, came out of nowhere. From the looks of it and what I've been seeing in the story, it seems like you, more so than what you were actually stating, wanted to have some sort of reset on having a family, and then after kind of winding up and seeing that, maybe it didn't actually work out the expected way, you're trying to, backtrack. Am I the a-hole for winning a large sum of money from gambling? Quick backstory, but me, 48M, and my wife, 38F, discussed how I would stop gambling for the time being. The issue was that March Madness was coming up a month after we talked about this, and I am historically profitable in March Madness. I have an algorithm/strategy that has predicted 57% of the tournament games correctly in the last 3 years, and it typically helps me regain losses from the NFL playoffs. This year, I really wanted to take the family to Europe, and without me taking a calculated risk, there's no way that us and the kids could realistically get there. Long story short, I decided to be careful, really take my time, and be certain before I bet anything. Yes, I understand there is some risk, but you guys need to realize that stockbrokers investing on the stock markets are doing the exact same thing, but with millions of dollars. I also did my research, have a proven algorithm, and risked a lot less than $1 million. I won the bet. I sustained a 6-figure payout. I'm not gonna get into the details, but it was the biggest single bet payout that I've ever had. So, first I replenished the kids' educational fund, and then I created a PowerPoint on a Europe trip that I was going to take the family on, and surprised my wife over dinner. Romantic, right? Well, apparently not to her. Without even a thank you, she goes right into asking about where I got the money for this. She flipped out when I told her that what I had done, and wouldn't listen to a dang thing I had to say. I explained the stock market comparison, and she just talked over me and yelled at me. Not only that, but when she found out that I had made a stake in some of our education savings, she immediately freaked at me. I'm a utilitarian. I'm all about results for the greater good. She cares about the journey and can't really stomach taking large risks. That's okay, and I still love her for it. But I literally got enough money to secure our kids' future educations and can take the family to Europe. Yet, because I risked one of our kids' funds, who is on the brink of failing most of their classes anyway, she kicks me out of the house. She literally made me partially move out of the house, and I spent over 10 days at a friend's house. Am I the a-hole in this situation, or is she? Think about it this way. I have a utilitarian perspective on life. I won the family a large sum of money and get kicked out of the house. How does that make sense at all? Yes, risks were taken, but I was correct, and she needs to have more faith in my abilities. In my opinions, I almost want to take all of the money back for myself and not let her have any of it if that's how she's going to act. Please don't just call her the a-hole either. Please actually explain how she could see it from my angle. Thank you, everyone who took the time to read the whole story. P.S. I could drop lots of articles and examples of people who are professional gamblers who make a living off of it, so please don't just write it off like it's bad without doing the research first. This is really just a big old stretch for you trying to justify your gambling addiction to your kids. Like, look, you said that you won a lot, but you also said the ratio was 57 to 43 in favor of winning. That still is pretty darn close to 50-50. And way to go comparing it to the good old stockbrokers of the sorts. You know, it's totally not like we've seen people in those positions happen to use underhand tactics like inside trading or, rug pulling in the past. No, it's totally not like that is very much not like gambling in a casino. There are different parts of the casino that are more skill-based, whereas stuff like the slot machine is very much luck-based. Only part that people can agree on that is the whole don't call your wife the a-hole part. Trust me, there is no part in this where she is the a-hole. You know what's also weird and, coincidentally related to gambling is that somebody in the comments below this post linked to another post from the exact same original poster stating, update from the guy who was down $110,000 and had decided to on a loan or to tell his wife. Yeah, and what happened to that 43% down rate? Weirdly enough, this one was actually posted before the AmITheDevil post. So it kind of sounds like you blatantly know that you have a gambling problem, but you're going out of your way to try to justify it to random people on the internet. To try to get some kind of supporting backing to you. Since this is relating to gambling, I do feel like I should probably also say this, that first off, I do not condone doing this, especially when you do happen to be putting your children's lives, their kind of future you're risking, they're gambling that away. If you or a loved one happen to have a problem with gambling, there is a helpline. Here's the number right now. It is 1-800-GAMBLER. Originally, I thought it was some kind of simple 3-digit number, but no, this is very much something that is available for those people. This is the one that is specifically in the 50 United States and the U.S. territories. I'm not sure what it is for the international ones, but if you need to, there most likely are ones that are dedicated to your specific region. Closest that I have ever been to actually gambling on stuff and any sort of addiction is constantly buying Yu-Gi-Oh packs to try to pull the right card. Really not the best way to play the game. Honestly, just collect the singles. Save a lot more money, and you wind up just getting the cards you want guaranteed. But really, please do understand that if somebody says that you have a gambling addiction and that you need to get help, it's not a personal attack on you. They're doing this because they care about you. Am I the a-hole for trying to convince my girlfriend that one of her friends is detrimental to our lives? Using this throwaway again, I got help last time that saved my relationship with my girlfriend, so I'm hoping that it'll help again because things seem to be pretty worse between us. My M25 GF of almost 22 years, Jessica F23, has a lot of friends. There are those where I'm just barely acquainted with, but the friends that I do know, I like. However, there is one in particular that I still can't wrap my head around, Ruth, F23. Jessica is what I call a makeup dork, where she understands the importance of looking presentable in public, but she is not shallow. She just really loves looking good, which I greatly appreciate. Ruth only wears casual wear with minimal makeup. She also doesn't seem to take care of herself very well, as she has a problem with dry hands, but I was told that that is normal in Ruth's profession. But still, it's no excuse. Also, Jessica is in medical school, while Ruth just doesn't want to do anything to advance her career. The only interest they share together is animated shows and animals. They actually met in their first year of college, when they both volunteered at the SPCA, and since it was during the pandemic, there were limitations to the number of volunteers, so they both closely work together a lot. Now that Jessica is soon to be finishing up her first year of medical school, I can't help but think about our future. Both of us came from good backgrounds. We are living in a great apartment, and I have a great job, where I just recently got a raise. So I brought up my thoughts about how we can improve our lives more. She thought things were good enough, but I told her it can be better, since we're both advancing professionally. I think that we should consider on advancing socially as well, and we should surround ourselves with people that are close to our level. So I brought up her friendship with Ruth. I said I like Ruth, but I feel like later in life she'll bring her down. I brought up the difference between them and how people will think when they see them together. I also believe that this friendship will end eventually as our lives progress, so it would be best to end it now. She started to cry, but I can tell that she was trying to hold back. I tried to reassure her that I understand that this is hard for her to hear, but I just want what is best for us. She then said, "You have always been this big bag of big of a dong." I was shocked because I couldn't believe that she said that, but she repeated it, and yeah, she definitely said that to me. I tried to calm her down, but she didn't want to hear it, so she locked herself in our bedroom. A few hours later, she came out and told me that she's staying with her sister and may come back this weekend.
Is he your friend down there? Yeah, they happen to have a little bit of a dry skin problem. I think they're going to weigh us down in life.
Look, if somebody's going to break up with a friend and not have a friend, that's going to be them making their own decision. You can't just automatically decide, hey, your friend, I don't want them to be your friend anymore. That is not how that works, and that is not where anything is going to be going anytime soon, dude. Am I the a-hole for prioritizing my girl BSF during a time of grief over my girlfriend? I, 19M, have been seeing someone, 19F, I'll call her Alice, for 3 months. Things were going great. We're both in our second year of university, same course, same sports club, and share a lot of interests. I genuinely thought that we were perfect together. Before Alice, during my first year, I moved to a new country for university and didn't know anyone. That's when I met Lucy, also 19F, who became a close friend. She helped me settle in and introduced me to the people who are now my closest friends. I developed feelings for her during this time, and I heard she might have felt the same, but we never acted on it. When I started dating Alice, I was honest about Lucy, about our friendship and the past feelings. I also told her that I no longer felt that way and was choosing to be with her. I thought that honestly would help. For the first 2 months, things were good. I introduced Alice to Lucy, and while they got along on the surface, I sensed some tension. Then, 3 weeks ago, Lucy's mother passed away from melanoma. Naturally, I wanted to support her, so I started spending more time with her, less with Alice. I explained this to Alice, and she seemed to understand. During this time, Lucy confessed that she still had feelings for me. I didn't know how to respond. She was grieving, and I didn't want to reject or abandon her in that state. But I realize now that I should have told Alice immediately. On Friday, I took Lucy out for dinner, just to cheer her up. It was a place that we used to go to last year. Afterwards, she suggested that we go to a bar. I called Alice to check, and though she sounded a bit reluctant, she said okay. We had drinks, talked, and I walked Lucy home. At her door, she kissed me. I didn't kiss back and didn't go inside. I waited until the next morning, when I was sober, to tell Alice. I met her at the cafe and told her everything. She was furious and said that I had to cut Lucy off completely. I refused mainly because the funeral was coming up, and I felt then that I needed to be there for Lucy. Alice told me to go screw myself and walked out. Since then, I've tried to reach her. Calls, visits, but nothing. I've decided to give her space and wait. In the meantime, I've been there for Lucy, though we haven't talked about the kiss. Am I the a-hole? I know I messed up by not telling Alice about Lucy's confession and by letting the kiss happen, but it wasn't intentional. I didn't want any of this to spiral. I was just trying to support a grieving friend, not hurt my girlfriend. Here's the thing though, if somebody happens to kiss you, you aren't up for it, that's not cool. If you talk to your girlfriend and she says that it's probably not a good idea to be around them, might be best idea to take that advice. Same thing happens if things were to be switched, and your girlfriend had happened to have then cheated around that person. Yeah, I wouldn't be too keen on them hanging around that person either. Because, it's not exactly good history. I get it, the grandmother died, and yeah, a loss in the family does very much suck. What also is not good is lying to your significant other. Girlfriend went to sleep in another room with my friend. Let me explain what happened. We had a party at my house. It went on very long, and we were all very drunk. At 7:30 a.m., somebody leaves except my best friend, which, unfortunately, since 2 years, is just a person I see a couple of times a year. After, we had several discussions, and our roads sort of separated, but we were still in very good terms, almost like brothers. He literally collapsed on a sofa because he was too drunk. Me and my girlfriend go to bed. The house is quite big, and we have 3 extra rooms for context. We close my friend in the living room because he was unable to get moved, put a blanket on him, leave him with a water beside him, closed all doors off to the living room, and go in our rooms. I bring 2 bottles of water, close up to the room, and get in bed. My girlfriend starts sleeping immediately. I had to wait to get sleepy, but eventually do so. After 4 hours, at 12, I wake up to see that I don't see my girlfriend in my bed. I go looking for her, and found her in the living room, sleeping on the other side of the sofa. A big one, L-shaped, so no touching my friend, but a meter from him. Wake her up, ask her why she is there, and go back to our rooms. I start asking why. The room was still completely dirty and full of ashtrays and empty cups. There was, of course, my friend sleeping there as well. I saw no reason why she should have gone there. If she wanted to change rooms, there was a free and completely clean separate room. Or, the most obvious thing, if she woke up, was either to chill in bed with me, watch a couple of videos on her phone, and then go back to sleep. Me and my girlfriend are together since 4 years ago, and I trust her a lot. I also trust my friend that 99% didn't even notice her coming, as was still dead in the same position as the night before. But still, I feel betrayed in some sort of way. Why should my woman leave my room and go into the room with my best friend to sleep? What can any man think if she wakes up in the sofa and her side she sees the girl of the house's owner sleep next to him and not in the bed with his man? Her answer is, I have really no idea. I must have been sleepwalking, or was drunk and woke up, went there, and started sleeping there. Plus, she says that it's not even a big problem at all. There were many people sleep on the sofas generally. I am actually really what the frick, and several hours passed, and she continues trying to talk to me about other stuff, but I'm like, stay away from me right now, let me think. I really don't have anyone to talk to about this, so what do you think? AIO? Yes. Offensive? Out of line? I don't know, but that O is definitely to you. I can understand being nervous about whether or not your significant other would cheat on you, because that is kind of an anxiety in the back of the head that is in a lot of people's heads, but a lot of people have slept on couches throughout history a lot of times. There's nothing cheating on them. Plus, with all the people there, I'm feeling like if somebody actually did something, it wouldn't exactly stay secret for long. It's ridiculous, and I don't think anybody that is a close friend to you would want to burn that bridge by doing something horrible like that. Yes, there are people out there that would act like that, but the likelihood versus the majority is very slim, versus the majority being the majority for an obvious reason. People don't screw up friendships like that on the daily basis. Yes, I know the possibility of there is still in the back of your mind, because that's unfortunately how anxiety works. But the likelihood of your significant other doing that is not high. Not at all. People in the comments below the post are also stating that they also said in another one of their posts that, yeah, she gets up and goes to sleep on the couch all the time. That part you left out of this story. So yes, oh for overreacting. But with that, that is going to have to be with the video. If you guys would love to be absolutely amazing, show your support, and see more videos like this one in the near future, be sure to hit that like button, leave a comment down below to start up them wholesome internet discussions, and if you guys have not already, subscribe to the channel and turn on them notifications. And I'll be sure to see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching, and bye-bye!